Hi guys, welcome to another Alice lesson. Now in this lesson we're going to go over on world functions. Alright, so let's quickly create a new method. I'm going to call it functions AI. And then let's look at the functions for the camel. So we see all these functions that we're all very familiar with. The within threshold, smaller than, larger than. We're very familiar with all this. But when we click on the world, we see a bunch of stuff that we don't know, alright? So we have a bunch of stuff. Boolean logic, math, string, all this we don't even know. So let's talk about this. Let's go and experiment with some of these functions so that you guys can see how they work. So let's quickly add another animal. I'm going to make the bunny turn to face the camera, and we're going to do the same thing here, turn to face with a camera, and then we're going to make them turn left 1/4 of a revolution. Alright, and we're going to do that, turn left 1/4 of a revolution. Oh no, I'm supposed to do the camel methods, turn left 1/4 of a revolution. Perfect. And now that's all done. So let's make them move. Alright, so let's do this. How are we gonna do this? The camel is going to move forward. Let's do 50 meters in let's do like 20 seconds maybe. No, let's do this. Let's do move at speed. Yeah, let's do move at speed. Let's do move at speed forward, and then we'll do 1 meter per second. Duration 50 seconds. Well, let's not do 50 seconds, do 10 seconds. And then we'll make a copy of this, but we're gonna do this for the bunny. Alright, so let's watch this. Oh yeah, let's quickly set this vehicle to the camel so that we'll follow it, and then we should drag this method into the world so it runs. Now let's look at this. So apparently the camel only moves. So we forgot to do this. We forgot to put a do together so that they both work together, alright? Let's click play. Alright, so they both move together. Doesn't look very real, huh? So let's do something. What about this trick? I found a really cool trick that we can do here. Click on either the camel or the bunny or whatever you did, and then go click on the world, and then go down to random, alright? Drag in random number for any of your objects, okay? For any of your objects. And I'm going to do a random number for their speed. So I want to do the camel. Let's set the minimum. Let's set the minimum to, has to be at least 5, but the maximum can only be 10. So let's see if this works. Alright, so apparently I went a bit too fast. 1 meter per second. And then change this down a bit. So we see that it becomes a bit realistic. As we move this down a little bit, we could see that they're both speeding up. And you can see this thing is a bit shaky, so we can also add one for the bunny if we wanted to. You go here, and then we'll do the minimum for 1, and then the maximum to 2. And then click play. And you can see it looks a bit more realistic. It really looks like they're trying really, really hard. So I think it would actually be better if we just did it for the bunny. And then, yeah, you can see it looks a bit realistic. That's one of the functions in the world that you can learn to use. So it's really, really nice. And now let's do an if statement, alright? So let's try putting one in the do together. Let's do if the camel is distance in front. No, we can't do that. No. Is at least, let's do 2 meters away from the bunny, the entire bunny. And we'll move this, we'll take this out, and we'll go back to the world. Let's add this for the camel. Random number. Set the minimum to 1, and then we'll set the maximum. Let's do the 4 or 3.5 this time. 3.5. Alright, and then if all that happens, what we need to do, what I want to do is actually, I'm going to make it say other, I'm a winner. Okay, and then, but if it's anything else, we'll say I'm losing. No. Alright, so let's see what happens. I'm a winner! I'm a winner! So, yeah, because it's at least 2 meters away from the bunny. Alright, but if we move this down a bit, all the way down to 2. Alright, so let's move this down to 2. Let's see what happens. I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Okay, so still a winner. Okay, but let's go drag in that random number for this. I'm gonna do minimum. Let's do 1. Maximum. Do 3.5. Let's click play. I'm losing. No, I'm losing. Yeah, so basically, that's one of the functions in the world. You can mess around with all the other functions and see what you get as a result. There's a lot of options here, so don't feel free to mess around or make mistakes, because you have to remember, you always learn from your mistakes, alright? So that's a really good thing, so I think it's pretty cool. That's all for now. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me a PM. I'll try my best to answer, and hopefully it'll help you. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.